It's time. No worries. So हम यहाँ से करेंगे. Okay. So I think we are live. We are live on LinkedIn. We are live on Facebook. So first, let me introduce about myself a little bit. My name is Neha Talwat, and today's episode, which has been streaming on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Insta. So my YouTube ID is mindful_badass_TV. Here we aspire and desire to get the spotlight trailblazers who are shaping the future of a nation in all their possible means, who have a journey to share, who have an incredible lessons to share with us so that we can learn and motivate ourselves to change the entire direction of our life. So our guest for today is none other than Lieutenant Colonel Dr. Santosh Khadsare, who is a retired Indian Army officer. He has been a visionary leader with over 25 years of expertise spanning the Indian Army, cybersecurity, and digital forensic. And let me tell you, he's a leading mind in delivering Make in India digital forensic solutions. From heading the digital forensic lab at CERT and supporting nation's topmost law enforcement agencies to driving innovation under the Make in India initiative. He has been a game changer in empowering India's self-reliance in the critical field. And now he is serving as a CTO at Systems. He leads advancements in digital forensics and incident response while mentoring the next generation of leaders. I think that's the forte of our platform, where we always talk about the future leaders. And that's not enough about him. During his professional career, he has analyzed numerous digital forensic cases which has an impact on national security of India. He has worked with NIA, CBI, Police Armed Forces, and many other agencies. So if we are safe today, as digital, we are safe, it's because of people like him. So let's give him a big round of applause as we call upon him. And that's the biggest welcome that I could give you, Khadsare sir. And people, all the audiences, I welcome you to this masterclass. So stay tuned to the end because there is so much to learn about resilience, adaptability, and why purpose is important in life. We are gonna be inspired by his story, his journey, and groundbreaking contributions that he has done for our nation. So once again, welcome to you, sir. It's my honor to have you.
Thank you, Sneha. In fact, it's a pleasure to be with you here on this podcast. Thank you very much for so kind words and inviting me to interact or to share my views with your audiences. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to have you and get an opportunity to learn from you. Before we begin, we have a lot of questions. Personally, I have so many questions because I've been reading and researching about you. But these days, there's a special term which has been crafted called as digital arrest. Would you want to put some light about digital arrest? Because मैं आज आपसे कॉल पे आने से पहले मुझे आज के ही दिन में कुछ मल्टीपल ऐसे कॉल्स हैं एंड बिकॉज ऑफ थैंकफुली अगेन टू द डिजिटल इकोसिस्टम दैट वी गेट टू लर्न अबाउट दिस ऑल fake calls and spam calls and threat calls which are coming which helps them to make us bankrupt. So would want to know more from you about the digital arrest force, starting with you, and then we'll explore deep dive because you are here, you're from an Indian Army background, and we would love to know more about your journey over there. Some interesting, incidents or cases that you would have handled, and if you would like to put some light on that as well. Yes, sir. Over to you.
Yes, thank you, Sneha. Firstly, to start with, I'll give a caveat that whatever we'll be discussing due to my service in the law enforcement and the government, I would be restricting my sharing of information because of the work which I have done over the decades. So that is just a small caveat. But yes, of course, we'll be going into deep into a lot of things. Second thing is the first question you started with digital arrest. With digitization everywhere and with the evolving of internet and the you can say the cost effectiveness of the devices in the market and the penetration of this particular technologies deep into even to the rural areas or even to the last person. In every household you will have numerous devices. Initially, I'll start with, since I'm in the forensics domain, when we used to do cases, we used to have only one device or two devices per case for per incident. Now there are more than 20, 25 devices because every house has more than two mobiles or three mobiles, computers, assets. So with digitization, so has the crimes also have evolved. And crimes also have evolved at such a fast pace that every day the face of the crime is changing. The latest trend is of digital arrest, and everything plays on a human psychology, like human psychology or human factors like fear. Like digital arrest is playing on your fear factor. So they want to terrorize you, traumatize you, and make you feel that you are in a very vulnerable situation, and the only person who can help is the person who is actually interacting with you. And the people who don't have much knowledge of the segments which are aloof, especially the segments which does have, for example, why do they target old people or the people from the IT industry or particular segment? Because they know these people have money, they are vulnerable, their attitude towards cybersecurity may not be that effective as it should be. So they are the very easy targets. And like even the culture impacts much more, because in Indian culture, if if you are victimized, you don't want to share that you have been victimized because you feel that what other people will think. So that also advantage people take. Now in digital arrest, what is being done is you have been kept under arrest live, means your camera is on, your audio is on, and the person in front of you, under some kind of you can say some kind of a pretext, like okay, now since you have been caught dealing with drugs, or you have been caught in a pornographic situation, or your child is means he's caught somewhere. So they keep you under digital surveillance, and during that surveillance they try to extract maximum you can say the PII, personal information about you. Your mostly the target is financial crime. If you see, digital arrest is leading to financial crime. So mostly, and once they achieve the target, they see how much deep they can get into. If I can get 100 rupees from you, I know I can get another, you can say 1,000 rupees or another lakh rupees from you. But the you can say the what I'll say is the digital arrest frauds are happening daily in and out. The reason is because there's a lot of, because of the digitization also. Now no one goes to the banks also. Everything is online. So there are some pros and cons of having a digital society, and this is one of this. But this only can be addressed by awareness. And I always say to people that you cannot avoid any technology. You have to befriend it. You have to be a part of the system. Like I'll give a simple example. If I'm not on Instagram, for example, but someone may impersonate me as a person on Instagram. So it's better I be there and be secure. Means I know this is, a few people may think this is a wrong advice to give, but I feel if there are few good few platforms, because everyone has a digital identity. So it's better to be there and be secured. That's one thing. Digital arrest, even the Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister mentioned it few days back and is continuously mentioning it, that no one will ask you for money, or no one will ask you by taking you on a video call or something like that. If you say maximum digital arrest takes place, from various outside the country, and even within inside also. Of course, it happens. Most people impersonate as a lawyer, as a Supreme Court judge, as a police inspector, as an income tax official. So the only way of this is, spreading awareness, being careful, having proper security measures, and this is here to stay. You may find another kind of crime coming up later, that maybe the defects may crop in, where you'll have a video call, like we are having a video call, maybe on the other side where you are sitting, maybe my daughter will be sitting and asking for help. So what do I do in that case? That is also, so the crimes will evolve, and digital arrest is the crime as of now which is happening on a day to day. I can go into depth, but I'll cut it short here. I think that's sufficient information.
I think it's an interesting also for us as people to know more about it because this, I
Hmm.
am telling you my own example. I at least get one call in 2 days. It's as early as today. This morning, I got a call saying that no, your car has been captured under an accident. जबकि कार सर्विस में गया है सो and because I've been reading and researching a lot about it, मुझे पता है कि what is digital arrest and these are fake calls and fools people are making. I get calls from in the name of FedEx. I get call from your parcel has been awaited. It's an important document, but your PAN card, Aadhaar card is not there. And so many such calls I get in at least one call in 2 to 3 days.
So
Uh,
it's very true. At least you are aware of this particular threat, so you actually think twice. People are not aware of this. Now, if you see, as I said, in this particular digitized world, you are always a victim. You are a product to be sold. I call it because when you are on the internet, you are a product to be sold. So not, there are no free lunches. If someone is offering something, there's something fishy to it. Secondly, and when I mean these things are very I'll say very basic in nature, but still people due to the unawareness they do fall prey to this. So it is there. The only mechanism is how we can improve the security posture of say the banks, of the digital ecosystem, and also empowering people with education regarding to how they can protect themselves. It is an ongoing process. It will not end. It will be an ongoing process, and let me tell you, still there's a lot to come in the future.
Yeah, so that's the fear which I already have started to sense with, the more you read, the more you get to know, and then more you realize that there is no stopping of it. But what a common man should take care of, when I say common man, it's like any one of us, to be honest, because people who have money are getting into digital arrest. People who are celebrities are getting into digital arrest situations. So what can we all do or identify? I don't know if there is a possibility to curb, but an action that can be taken that can help overall as a society to safeguard themselves in near future.
See, wherever the financial crime, because as I said, all this leads to a financial crime at this level. So
Mm.
whether it's a digital arrest, whether it's some other kind of a crime, whether it's a QR code crime, whether it's some other kind of parcel crime or something like that. So the only thing is, or the basic things firstly you should be secure in the sense you should be aware of what's happening. If you're in
Mm.
the family, you are an educated person in the sense you can educate your seniors, your
Mm.
elders, your children, because sometimes your children also take your asset digital mobiles and they play around. Maybe in that case the security features get disabled if something is downloaded, so or something like. So what are the good bad uglies of the ecosystem have to be told, especially when someone is asking for some financial or PII, personal identifier information,
Mm.
that should be withheld, whether it's your mobile number, your email address, your home address, something related to your Aadhaar card number, your PAN card number, your passport detail. At least this should be drilled in into every household, that at least the PII should be safeguarded. That's why government of India is also coming up with the DPDP Act, Data Protection Act.
Mm.
It's in a very fast forward stage, and this is going to be a very big compliance for other people. So that is the government and the industry to look into. But as an individual, making aware to your society, awareness in your society, in your community is a must.
So one is that the only thing that we can put forward is keep personal information किसी के साथ भी share ना करें, and that is the
That's
only
the
way
basic. That's the basic. Yeah.
that's the only way right now. Okay, great. I mean, it was a great starting point. Would love to know more, and if you can put more light on your journey in during Indian Army days, and was there any? I mean, if there is something that you would love to share with us that shaped you to be a leader that you are today.
Okay. Means what I get of your question is you're trying to understand my experience and my mindset, what was shaped during the.
Absolutely. So, very first question, of course, absolutely, that's the whole objective. But to start with, can you share a moment from your army days, a moment where you all, because there's so much of pressure when there are incidents happening, when there are events around, which is a high pressure moment a lot, and you have to take decisions, just in a jiffy and take those decisions which may not be right or wrong, but could be the best for the situation. So, how does your mindset during those high pressure situation is, and how do you experience those moments, and how has that helped? I know there are three questions right now in this one line, but how has that helped you shape to be a leader that you're today? Because not you're not in an army, you are a CTO of a company, right? You're an employee. So how does that shape
So
your
I'll
decision?
go one by one to your questions. First,
Yes,
I'll
yes,
understand. I'll answer the mindset, high pressure situation question. See,
yes.
you should be lucky to serve in the army. It makes you a good, well-disciplined human being, and also it's a very honor and privilege to serve the nation. That's the first thing. Now,
Mm,
experiences in the army have played a very crucial role in shaping the mindset, especially during the high pressure situation. The reason why is because that particular organization instills discipline, resilience, and
mm,
adaptability when we actually come to that point of high pressure situation. The training which is actually imparted from the day one actually it's in such a demanding condition that you get tuned to that kind of atmosphere that at any point you are under a, I'll not say ki you are under or you're tuned to solve or come winning from that pressure kind of situation.
mm,
What is basically taught or ingrained in every individual who joins this particular elite, forces is how
mm,
to prioritize tasks as a leader, how to make quick decision, and most important, you can say the feature or the backbone is how we rely on team. It's all about camaraderie. If I trust my brethren, then only I can you can take decisions as a leader. I have to trust my team, and I have to lead from the front. And by saying that, what I mean is that this particular organization, army, emphasizes on teamwork. Teamwork is very critical and very crucial. And knowing that I can count on my brethren as my comrades, so that helps or gives confidence in me that what decisions I take in such pressure kind of situation. And
mm,
while we think strategically, because as leaders, as officers, when we lead, we have to stay composed under under fire. Fire means under pressure situation, and we also have to execute plans and with precision, because that by default becomes a second nature. By being calm, taking decisions. I'll put in simple words what was told to me when I joined the army first. Irrespective whether your decision is right or wrong, take a decision, because everyone is waiting for a decision. If you don't give a decision, then everything is stalled. If you're wrong, you have time to correct. You can go back and say what went wrong and have a mid stage correction.
mm,
So the army actually reinforces the importance of mental toughness. That's what it is. Over time, developed the mindset of viewing challenges as opportunities and growth. And we are
mm,
pushed through, you can say, physical and emotional limits. So
mm,
that's where everything helps us. So
mm,
undoubtedly, this has the my experience or my work within the Defense Forces Army has undoubtedly shaped my
mm,
ability to handle
mm,
pressures. To sum it up, this question, it's all about what exposure you get towards adversity. In Army, you're always having some exposure. You're always relying on some decision. And decision making under pressure is very critical. As I said, take a decision, right or wrong. What I personally feel and what I've learned over the decades is that whatever decision you take, I've been sure what thought comes to your first mind over your experiences is 99% the right decision you should take. That's what I do usually. Secondly, teamwork and collaboration, risk assessment. It taught us
mm,
a lot about risk assessment and adaptation and flexibility.
mm,
So the experiences have equipped me to be strong and handle every one of us, whoever has gone through this
mm.
process, to have confidence, have a composure, and go ahead. So I think this is what I wanted to say about the pressure situations and such.
Mm. So you mean the importance of team collaboration and specifically having a direction given as a leader is very important.
Yes. Second, I'll come to your second question. You meant about any specific moment which I would like to share, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, as I said, I will be sharing moments, although I'll correlate them. This is a moment when I, initially joined the army somewhere in 2001, 2002. I had joined back in 1999. But that, if you recollect the dates, that is a very important incident happened where the parliament attack took place and the Oparakram, where the Indian army was mobilized to the borders. And I've been lucky to be part of that particular mobilization
Mm,
as an engineer. So I was a part of you can say, we have different divisions and we have some armored
mm,
divisions where you must have seen the tanks moving and
mm,
all. So I was a part of that particular, you can say, entity, and my team or my I was a very junior leader at that moment of time. And why am I telling you this incident? Because you learn from such incidents, and they actually make you a leader, or they give you direction. So that was a time where the conditions were hard. We are mobilized. We had to give, when we go into any kind of confrontation like of this, then firstly, what the army moves is on, the communication move, because you have to first establish the communication head, then the people from behind will come. So I've been the part of that ecosystem where we spent sleepless nights for months with the teams going into the deserts,
Mm.
trying to establish communications, very tough conditions. You felt at one moment of time whether I've taken the right decision joining the army. There are so many people whose lives are associated with you, because your one small mistake may, endanger someone's life. And at that time, I was only 2 to 3 years in service, and very young, maybe 28, 29 years of age. And so it was so much of pressure and responsibility. And of course, there was I was very, wanted to be a part of that, but also having that key, how that was my leadership test. I felt when I was alone, and there was so much responsibility of people around me. And
Mm.
how the when I mentioned few things in the previous questions, it was about how camaraderie works, how a leader we lead. In army, we lead from the front. And I would like to tell you, when I came into corporate, I'm just diverting a bit, just to make some some comparison. In army, we lead from the front. You take decisions, you lead. You're the first one to do what has to be done. Then people follow. While in
Mm.
corporates, you lead from the back. You're motivating people. You're pushing people to
Yeah,
do the task.
yeah,
So
very.
there are many things which we, of course, will talk in future discussion. But during that time, means I was able to understand how people trusted you, and what
Mm.
that trust can this. So we was within that duration of that period, which was very critical. We came out with flying colors.
Mm.
For a for an army officer, what is more important? It's not about what you have gained, what you have won. It's that even if your team is intact at the end of the day, that is your biggest achievement. If you have saved the lives of your team member, that's the biggest achievement.
Yeah.
Rather than I've done this, I've got this, I was able to capture this. That's how we are taught. You are the last man standing for these people. So that in that so I that particular situation, as I said, we were able to do it. As I said, we were engineers. There are much more people who did much more risky tasks like the infantry and with the other people. But in this particular situation, long back in 2001, it taught me how should I mold my career in the future, the next 20 years which I was there, and what I should do, what I should not do. So as I said, this is a very beautiful organization which makes you a thorough, you can say, a thorough leader also, a thorough gentleman also, and it's a blessing to be in that particular kind of a thing. So this
Yeah.
is one moment which I thought I'll share with you regarding my career.
I think it's a blessing for us to have people like you because you're so dedicated, and that's where we feel safe and we are being, living with our family happily. But while you mentioned this thing, ki army and corporate is different kind of a leadership. Though it's a leadership, and army officers when they get into corporate, they come out to be an amazing leader. But you lead there from the front, and you're absolutely right. Here, people have to lead from the back. How does that transition really looks like to you?
So I'll put it that the transition journey, if you're not planned, prepared, it's tough. I'll put it that way. Why is it tough? Because in army, you are a leader in the sense you're leading your troops. You have a very strict, stringent discipline to
Mm.
follow. Tasks are defined. What is to be done is known. Once a decision taken, you cannot revert back whatsoever happens to you or to in that particular direction when you're going. But
Mm.
when you speak of the corporate world, it's the other way around, as I said. you have to be flexible. In intermediate, you have to change your plans. You have to be, you have to be adaptable to the environment, because everything is about business. Everything is about that. There is the business is security, sovereignty. Here, the business is financial, stability to the company and the growth of the company. So, so that thing there is a difference when we speak about it. Like also, I would like to say, in army, you're exposed to different kind of situations. You're a soldier, you're a comrade, you're a leader, you're a technical head, or because I was from the technical arm as such, so we are technical head. In corporate also you are there, but you have to be more flexible and adjustable in the corporate environment, and which every particular, you can say, sector or particular, this has different types, so you have to adapt. And when I say it is difficult to adapt, because when we in the army, we never think of, okay, when I have to do a task, something finance is related, means, outcome is not a financial condition, it's about security, it's about this. Here everything is there. So, and the people from the army lack that particular thing when they want to, transition to the corporate. They have everything wherewithal, and they're the best, you can say, finds any industry can get when they want. When people do select, most of the army people, when they come out, when they we call it the second innings, after say 10 years or 15 years or 20 years of service, but then they are into positions of more technical positions, business oriented. They have to be selected towards the positions they take when they come into the corporate. If they have a particular skill, like I was into, say, IT, forensic, cyber, so I picked up a skill or an industry which is that. But maybe I may be lacking. I'm not saying all of us, I'm just giving my point of view, because no two human beings are the same as such. But I have seen they require some transition time, some buffer to adjust to the environment. And
Hmm.
everything is not about discipline in the outside world. It's about more how you can take a team along. Within army also, you have to take a team along, but with discipline. Here you have to take by understanding their personal problems. And like, for example, I'll tell you the biggest problem I face now in corporate is that I don't know when my subordinate, whether he'll come tomorrow to office or not. When the army, I know 100% he'll be in the office at 8 o'clock, irrespective whether I want him to come or don't want him to come. So there are a lot of things which are there. But the any law enforcement professional, whether from army, navy, air force, police, paramilitary, let me tell you, they're the best people suited to do cooperate roles in a particular segments where it comes to this, because they can discipline a team, in the sense they can get work done from a team. They're very punctual. I've seen over the initial first 2 3 months, I used to be in my office, in my corporate office at 8:30, and I used to see people coming at 11 12. I was a bit surprised. I knew it, but I was surprised, and I did not know how to handle the situation. So I spoke to one of my senior management. I told, यार करना क्या है बताओ ना. Should I shout at them? Should I give them a reprimand or something? Said, no sir, here it's project based. Let them come. They'll do their job. Your job is to ensure that within a time frame that task has to be completed, whether it's been done from home or whether it comes from this. And the best learning was COVID then. Everyone went to home, so that also, it was a learning for us also, that it's not necessary everyone has to be there. It was a saving to the exchequer, to the company. People work from home, from remote places. So all this learning, when you sum up, it comes down to that. Every day is a learning process, and you have to go on and on. As a good student.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think such an interesting thing you said, that adaptability is the key. Because change is the only thing which is constant. और अगर आप change के साथ ही survive नहीं कर पाओगे या दोस्ती नहीं करोगे, then it becomes a struggle. And I think that you also realized at a very early age, early time when you joined corporate and you found that there's something which is not as the leadership in army and the leadership here has to function differently. Where both the places there is all about outcome, but then again here the outcome is also the salary, and there the outcome is not about money; it's only about security and the nation.
Yeah.
So it's incredible. That transition is, I'm sure, not be an easy one, but changing is the only, I mean, adapting to the change is the only solution, or managing that situation is the only solution to be happy and, be comfortable in the skin, in the new skin that you get into.
Yeah.
So, what lessons, if I have to ask you from your military career, do you think are the most applicable to your work currently that you're doing into digital forensic today? What has been that the right junction of the two points which has come in the two career which has come to
Yeah,
place?
very true. Thanks for this question. In fact, I should thank my organization for giving me opportunity to do what I did in my this and getting into new technologies, niche fields like forensics. That was only possible because the I was there at that moment of time. And let me tell you, as you know, these organizations, the first to come up with, means to get a hold of new technologies which are coming in. So
Mm,
that has been always a plus point and advantage for people like us who want to, make a career in a particular very niche field. Now, digital forensics is a very niche field now also in the
mm,
corporate segment also. Although now the buzz has started over this particular career, everyone wants to get in here because they see a lot of money here. They see a lot of, you can say problem solving,
mm,
you can say power here. I mean, if there's any case, how to handle it. But the lessons which I learned during my military career has always proven to be very applicable in today's scenario in the digital forensics world also. Now I'll tell you, when I made a mention that okay, we are more worried about our troops with us when we're in army. So what that brings me to attention to detail. The
mm,
if you see in army, attention to detail is very important, and in forensic career also attention to detail is so important. For
mm,
example, if every forensics, like every bit by bit data which we are recovering or
mm,
any evidence which we are going to produce in the court may put someone's life in, no, I'll say, means at a helm, means he'll either be punished or he'll be left. So it's very important in forensics. So attention to detail was one important thing which was applicable both in the both, you can say, both side of the boundary also. And you're supposed to analyze everything in detail because, as I said, it's all about integrity of the evidences.
mm,
Okay. Next important thing is that about critical thinking and problem solving. What I feel is that any situation come, you have to find a solution. You can't, there's a no go situation, you can't say no, it can't happen. Yeah,
mm,
I can't do it. It's a decision. Same case in forensics also. Critical thinking is very important. Every case is different. Every approach to every case is different, and you have to, means over the years, which when I've done these cases, I found that you have to approach every case either logically or technically or some other different manner. So critical, again, that this factor of critical thinking and problem solving again applies to both the field, because here also you are dealing with such sensitive information where confidential information, high pressure situation which is common to both. So this is there. Third factor which I feel is regarding the adaptability. Again, I spoke about adaptability. In army we have done various roles. We have done roles of a soldier, we have done roles of a technical person, we have done roles of a leader, and so many,
yeah.
everyone thing. And here in particular in this digital forensics field, adaptability we require to technologies, because there are so many where technologies and techniques are evolving on a daily basis. So
Mm,
if as a forensic professional, if I'm not aware of what's happening, how
mm,
to deal with this, the
mm,
willingness to learn and quickly get up to the
mm,
new tools coming in, the new technologies, the new crimes coming in. We just discussed one crime at the start of the session.
mm,
So how do I tackle it if such case comes to me? How do I solve it in a forensic manner if this can't? So these things are evolving. So this is very important. One thing is regarding other aspects about teamwork and leadership. Both places require leadership because decisions have to be taken. You cannot leave it. So this is another factor which overlaps both the fields. Perseverance, yes. And overall, what I'll say is that core values are simple: discipline, teamwork, adaptability, critical thinking.
mm,
That I learned in the previous tenure, my previous work, and that has helped me to navigate in the digital forensic field. Because whenever I speak to students and all regarding this forensics field as such, which I've been doing for more than 2+ decades, I always speak of passion and patience and confidence and precision, because this is very important. These are very important, and this actually helped me in this field, I'll tell you. Because Otherwise, the attitudes of people towards this forensic field, it cannot be taken lightly, because as I said, someone life is at stake. Whatever you are going to do is going to impact something, either individual or a nation state or something like that. So it's very critical. So that's what I would like to tell about these two careers. There are a lot of things which are that's what coming to the point now, whenever you want to switch a career,
Mm.
whenever you want to go to corporate, you have to do your own SWOT analysis. What are your strengths, weaknesses, opportunity, threats, and wherever you overlap. So when I was planning to make my second career after 24 years, I decided what are my strengths, what I have been doing so far. So I had priority one, priority two, priority three, and this field was more open to me. So I decided to come into this field. So
Mm.
you at this stage, always it is said that you have to learn, unlearn, relearn what people
Mm.
say. Yes, it's very true. But at the age of say 45 plus, when you are doing a second career, I feel it's good to play on your strengths rather than to play on your weaknesses, and that will help you and keep you more confident. And other person also will benefit who is actually trying to hire you, or any entity which you want to start. So it's always good to be in a position of delivering the best, rather than doing something which you have not done over years as such.
Mm. I
The-
think it's
yeah.
really interesting that you mentioned about that when you change careers or you change your jobs, doing your self SWOT analysis is so important. And a lot of things that you mentioned about critical thinking, I think critical thinking is another key factor कि आपको हर जगह चाहिए होता है इन ऑर्डर टू ग्रो अदरवाइज अगर आप हैंकी पैंकी माइक्रोवेव पर काम करोगे तो यू विल नेवर बी एबल टू गो इनटू द डेप्थ अंडरस्टैंड थिंग्स एंड ग्रो whether it's a project, whether it's an organization, whether it's your own career. So can you put some more light on critical thinking? For people to understand it more easily, what do you mean by critical thinking, and how few ways that they can develop this? Because here we have people who are entrepreneurs, who are business leaders, who are at a leadership position in larger organization, and then we have future leaders also.
See, what I mean by critical thinking is, firstly, I'll speak from the corporate point of view now, is that how you envision, or what is your vision, how you want to take your growth company ahead. I'll just give a simple example. I was reading a very beautiful book day before yesterday, the Blue Ocean Strategy. And although I was trying to say, okay, what I have done means everyone has his own views, but I was reading one thing beautiful. So it said that 100 years back, no one thought there will be internet, or no one thought there will be automobiles. 50 years back, no one thought that there will be internet, mobile automation came in, industrial revolution came in. So if you think 50 years back, no one knew that internet will be there, or devices will be there, something like this will happening, will be virtually speaking, there'll be 3D, there'll be some crime. So at today, if we think what will happen another 25 years or 30 years beyond, means maybe in 2050, right? So we don't know what means at this moment. There were many things which you feel it's not possible, or it is not it is not thinkable, right? So but they exist now, right? So there are many things which exist. So when I'm in the critical thinking, you can think, okay, how you can actually help the society, how your particular area of influence can be used in improving your company growth, the society, and
Mhm.
how it is going to impact every one of us. So
Mhm.
you have to think from the nuts and bolts of it, from the minute part of it, how we are going to succeed, how we are going
Mhm.
to do it. So it's very much important. And second thing which I feel about critical thinking is that, see, our old means our culture, means our grandparents also said long back also that, see, you should learn from others' mistakes, right? So you learn from other mistakes. So you should know there are many people who say that how not to fail, you learn from others. So you that also becomes, I feel that should also be a part of this particular thinking process, because then only you'll be able to evolve over this particular or come ahead of this. So it's very important aspect, and everyone has to, it's like, I'll call it, it's like you have to close your eyes, and you have to have some vision, have something, and how you'll go towards it. That's why every company has a vision and a mission. If you see, every company has a vision and a mission.
Yes, the
So
vision and
that goes
values
through.
are very
Yeah,
important.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that is what I think it should be.
Yeah. I remember when I spoke to you, sir, that you mentioned about the entrepreneur journey, and it's not easy. And I really want you to go back to that conversation. And though we had a short conversation, but it was something which is very important because as an entrepreneur, we all struggle at the beginning, or sometimes we don't even know. Uh, so please put some light. How do people handle this whole situation? What does an entrepreneur journey looks like, and how they can be well prepared for it before they really step into it?
Yes. So firstly, as we had a few questions before this, I think firstly you should have that confidence in you that you can do it, right? And secondly, as I mentioned, you should know what you want to do, what you want to do, what are your strengths. So before venturing into the corporate journey, as I had decided that I will get into this particular niche field of digital forensics, so I tried to understand where are the shortcomings. If I go into corporate, where can I pitch in? Yes, at policy decision making, of course, I can pitch in because of the experience. But is that sufficient? So where are the bleeding points? So I realized that a lot of equipments are being imported and they're so costly equipment, and indirectly it is impacting or
Mm.
exchequer is of course the nation as such, the payment, we are paying from our taxpayers money. So that I thought, why not catch that point? And I, since I'd seen this, so I thought we should why not make our own. Already the government had launched this initiative of Make in India, Atmanirbhar Bharat, and this thing. So I said, okay, let me lead in this regarding, or let me start, or be one of the people who start, because there'll be many people thinking on those lines, and they are, of course, there are many people thinking. So where I can make my own product. So for that, what do I require? Firstly, coming from the government, maybe I may not have that much of capital to invest in and to start, because if I have to do R&D and come up with a new product, it takes time, it takes money, it takes a lot of other resources, things. So will I able to pull in those resources? The answer was a big no. So I said, "Okay, then what? If there's a no, then what is the way out?" Then I
Mm.
try to identify the people who can assist me in doing that. So in terms of mentors, in terms of the people who can in terms of support me in doing that. So in short, then I homed down ki the best way is to join someone collaboratively and make things who are again
Mm.
who have the same thoughts as mine. So it will actually lower my anxiety of losing on a capital or something like that. So then I came out. It's like selling your ideas. I sold my idea to the person who wanted to get sold. See, this is what I want, this is the problems, and the people were convinced with that. Okay, sir, we have to go ahead, and it's really a beautiful idea, so we support it. And that's how the journey started. So there was a company I joined, ISEC 40 Technology. They invested in the R&D work for 2 years. We came out with products, 5 products in the span of 2 years. For 6 8 months it was a slow process because it was a starting process. So and then we realized ki, okay, so in short, it started with someone trusting you, trusting your having confidence in you, having trust in you, and you delivering, convincing, and able to stand by your whatever you have said in the last moment. So
Mm.
this is how the entrepreneurship journey. As I said, I was never an entrepreneur when I was in the other side of the fence. But once came in, and during this 3 years plus 4 years, I have learned a lot of things during that process also. What not to do again, what. So now I'm a CTO at Systems, and now I'm making forensic products, and that learnings while on the other side of the fence, while I entered the entrepreneurship, came to the corporate, and now here I'm. So it's a ongoing process, learning process. But here, I would like to say only one thing, that someone has to trust you. You have to able to sell your idea, and not only sell it, you have to stand by your idea. That's what forensics teaches us. So whenever you do an analysis, you go to the court, you should stand by a report. Every word you write, you should stand by it. You should be able to convince the judge, what I have written, there's no other way out. So standing by your convictions, whether you're making products, whether you're doing forensics, whether you're doing anything, it's very important. So I may not have a very strong story to give about my entrepreneurial journey, but whatever I've again reinvested those learnings in my new things which come or new assignments which I take, and I think that has helped me a lot. And I'm sure that's why when I said ki, I made a statement that for the defense person to come into corporate, it's a bit tough, or it takes time. This is what I was trying to say, because it takes time, and after time you are able to then say, okay, my that quality will also fit in here, and this is how I can push my idea through. And now I'm very happy to say that even the industry recognizes that the products which we launched over the years, even there are a lot of recognitions which have come to what we have done. So you know that you're on the right path. The people speak to you, tell you, know you are in the right direction. So that is what is required, and that is what actually gives you more strength and to go ahead.
Amazing, amazing things that I have learned from you in this conversation. I would also want people, the audiences who are there on YouTube, LinkedIn, uh, somehow our Instagram couldn't run, but we're there on YouTube and LinkedIn Live. So if you all have any questions, do post, because the session is, I'm gonna not leave Santosh sir so soon, because there's so much more to keep learning from him. And
Can I add one more thing I should tell to your listeners, your audience, is that, see, apart from that, you should not have a single point of failure in life, single point even in your corporate life also. So while I was also doing my this Make in India products and all, I also started a digital forensic magazine because I wanted to give platform to the students, the people. And how this story evolved, few years back, maybe it's about 12 or 15 years back, I used to write a lot of articles regarding technology. But when I used to send it to foreign publication, they used to ask payment for even publishing that particular thing. You have to pay for it. More than 10 times my articles were rejected because they used to say that your English is not right. We don't, Indians, how we speak, and maybe the framing of sentences. So on those grounds, most of the time my articles were rejected, although they got published few times, but most of the time they were rejected. So then I learned that you should give people platform to voice your however right, wrong, because our people cannot, some people, we have such a diverse country, people cannot express themselves. People from the south may not be good in English, north they may not be, in the central region they are okay. So I started this publication to help these people, help the students, the professionals, so that they can voice their view in this particular field. Again, I reduced my scope. As an individual, you cannot do everything in the world. You have to reduce your scope. We call it the T type of architecture. You should know everything, but do what you can do the best. So this then also I started mentoring students and all. I'm very happy to say I've mentored a lot of academic institutions. I'm on the board of studies. When it comes to again this field, I cannot speak about other fields. So there are many ways you can do. And another important thing which I felt ki, see, also I have to keep a work life balance as such. So I usually it's very easy to say, difficult to implement. I can do it because I'm in my second innings. So people might laugh it out and say, "Ki, sir, you can say it just because you already passed that stage." But every Saturday, Sunday, I go to my village, do some kind of farming activity. I do some plantation, some part in the plowing, and so that is a work-life balance. Stress, how to get stress-free. So I don't know how people will take it, but this is very important aspect, which I feel that if we never incorporated it because of our type of work initially, but people, this generation should, from the word go, should incorporate this balance part of it. Very important. Giving time to your family, society, to yourself, meditation, going out. That's what I feel. So this is what point I wanted to make.
No, absolutely. I also say that, our life is like a wheel. And the wheel, ka jo part hai na, it's like a family life, a spiritual life, a personal life, which is loving yourself, self-care. And then there is your friends, your very close relationship. If one of the part of the wheel is not in the right, it's not optimum, then your wheel is not going to be moving properly for a long way. कभी तो कभी आपको burnout होगा, या you'll get fatigue, or you'll just get exhausted and you would just want to give up. तो ये व्हील को पूरा सर्कुलर प्रॉपर रखने के लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है दैट यू kind of, maintain that balance in a beautiful way. Though I'm not a great believer of balance, so yes. Uh, I also want to know which is the publication that you established for the readers who are interested in cybersecurity and they would want to know more in the domain, go deeper in the domain, and keep learning and evolving with the content which is coming in. Which is the publication, sir, that if you would
It
like?
is called a digital 4 and 6. 4 is a numerical 4, and it's available. Even if you search by my name, you'll find a lot of the digital 4. And I've written few books regarding how to make your career in cybersecurity.
Okay.
One thing I realized when I was interacting with students most of the time, they used to say, "Sir, how do I make my career in cybersecurity? It's such a vast field. We don't know where to go, how to go."
Mm.
And it's very much right, because people want to get in, but they don't know the job profiles. Like, for example, digital forensics is one job profile. Analysis, the VA is a job profile.
Mm.
Becoming means I identified 100 such profiles and take it. This is the where field you can within the cyber field where you can
Mm.
make your career. So that is very also very important. So that's what is there are many things. If someone wants to look into the whatever I've written or something, it's available on the in the internet as such.
Okay, so please, the listeners, the audiences, please make a note. And we're waiting if you all have any questions because Santosh sir is here to answer all the questions that we have. So look forward to that. Meanwhile, I would also want to, while we move forward, I want to understand, uh, you have been mentoring the next generation, as you mentioned now, and I know about it. So, how do you identify and nurture the potential leaders within your team? Because as a leader, uh, एक सबसे बड़ा challenge होता है having the right people in your team, okay? Because you have a vision, you have a goal, you have some plans to achieve, and if you don't hire right people, then your growth goes like, कभी ऊपर जा रहा है, कभी नीचे जा रहा है, कभी ऊपर जा रहा है, because it takes time to nurture the right people in the team, align with your values, align with your purpose. And I see all the best leaders see this thing that, they hire people who are aligned with their values. They whom they can align with their purpose, their goals, their mission. So one, this challenge is the biggest challenge in the organizational level as well. So how do you identify? And if you identify, then how do you nurture those leader to be becoming your next visionaries just like you, because they should be aligned with your purpose and your goals.
So I will put it that way, that this is a very critical, especially identifying people, within your organization, which is very important. Mentoring the next generation of professional is something, I have taken a lot of pride in, because I feel it's time to give back to the society. I have been lucky enough, supported, and wherever I am, I should thank my stars, that I've got more than what I deserve. I always say that, right? So now it's my time that I believe that I should give back to the society, and I
Mm.
believe in strong leadership is built in from ground top. You have to imbibe some things on that, and identifying and nurturing potential leaders, especially of my team or my field, I'll call it, requires a lot of thoughtful and proactive approach. I always, even like now again, some feature of digital forensic, you have to be. We have when we did forensics. Firstly, a few years back, we were doing reactive forensic. Now we are doing proactive, and now we speak of predictive forensic, means future. Similarly, for even finding leaders, you have to be thoughtful and you have to have a proactive approach in finding the leadership.
Mm.
Now, how I do it, or what my thought process is, or what my 2 cents of whatever I do is key, observing initiative and accountability. This field requires a lot of passion and patience. If you don't have passion and patience, there's nothing as fast food here. A case may take years to solve, or if not years, a few a month or so, or a few days. It doesn't happen at the the drop of a pin. So this is very much important. We have to look into who people can adapt to this kind of culture of working. There's no 5 days week. There's no nine to five job, because when you're doing forensic, you are doing it. And uh, I'll call it a drawback to this field, maybe, but yeah, but this is required. You have to lage raho, bolte na, you have to continuously be on that job. So while identifying, I look at the individuals who show ownership to their work, who take responsibilities, who take accountabilities, who are proactive. Most of my team, if I have a case is there and I've given to my subletted to my team, they come and tell me, sir, no, we can go in this direction also. We can no this also which we can imply. Okay, okay, this approach we should take. So the ingenuity part of it should speak. So that this speaks a lot about this. Then also encouraging problem solving and critical thinking. We have spoken about critical thinking. So how I can tell you of a case, just because of this. So a case, one case was technical in nature. A laptop was, being used for malicious activity, but we found nothing into that but laptop. So one of my teammate told, "Ki, sir, why not think that the hard disk has been replaced or changed?" And someone has just replaced. And when we did the study, now again, it's not easy as I'm saying. When we did the full analysis, we went back to the OEM. We literally found that he was so smart enough that he had replaced the hard disk. So it was all logical thinking, logical reasoning. It was no technical approach to solving this case. So this kind of ideas when they come, so you know that this person is thinking and he actually needs to be taken up that ladder or given that particular more importance, and providing opportunities for growth. Once we have identified someone, see, you are responsible not only for their professional you are responsible for their personal growth also. See, if someone is working with me, I should not think that how I use and throw him, or how I make use of him, and later if I don't want him, I leave him aside. So that doesn't make a good team or a good leader. If I
Mm,
and again I said, when we think of thoughtful, like, since being from the defense background, I think to other nations, how we can get few people at that caliber who
mm,
can represent us outside, who can have their own, you can say, products, potential, whatever the strengths they have, how they can display. So this happened. And most important, what I feel is giving a constructive feedback and guidance to that person. If he is not fit, we should be able to tell you're not fit, it's better you do something. Or if he needs some improvement in how to interact with clients, how to approach a case, how to improve himself, uh,
mm,
that has to be conveyed. As I said, I'll give a simple example. If someone in the technical team, he is a very good analyst, but he cannot put it on paper what analysis he has done. So it becomes useless. So it's duty of people like us to guide them and give constructive feedback, and also fostering a collective and collaborative environment for them. So that's what I feel we should give them a good condition. Secondly, of course, in the corporate, what I've realized more is that you should be recognizing and celebrating their qualities. So if someone has done good, you have to give a pat on the back and tell them you're good. That's also what I learned in the corporate. Because in army, we of course we do pat ourselves on the back when we do a good job. But here, individualistically, we have to tell. In army, we say it's a teamwork. Good, well done,
mm,
boys. Here, we have to tell an individual, or he or she, you have done very good. And if you go to even Starbucks or McDonald's, you say star of the month or something like that. So that is important. It's very important. I do agree that, and that's what the learnings also are. And supporting personal development. They may have a lot of, in army, like, if you have a personal problem, we do help. But here also, we have to help in the personal development, help them to grow their strength. In
mm,
short, what I'll say is to this question is identifying and nurturing potential leaders with my team or our team is involves recognizing all these qualities. And again, your role is more important than theirs, because you are in a, I'll not call it a fatherly position, but you are in a position where you can give something to them, you can nurture them, you can make their careers. So by focusing on both professional and personal development, I ensure that my team, whatever I can do, again, I'm saying it, maybe 100% I may not be the doing right, but whatever maximum extent I can do, I try my best to do. Mostly that's what mentoring has taught me. When I mentor outside people, this has taught me, if you mentor, and I have realized I've been mentoring for last more than 15 years plus. The people now who are in good companies, in good position, they come back and tell me, sir, and they are still connected. So my network has grown by that. So you cannot reap the benefits instantly, but your benefits will flow after 15, 20 years, when these people are they have made something of themselves. So it's more of a giving. And I always tell, and I have always practiced it also. If I do something, I leave that position, I go up and leave that position for someone else. Okay, because if someone else doesn't come and sit in a position, if you keep on occupying it, then nothing is going to happen. There'll be a void after some years. Once you go, then there'll be no one to take that particular thing. So this is very important in identifying people, as per me. And I would be happy if there are other views. I would incorporate them also if they are good.
I think such interesting facts because I have served myself, in corporate for almost 16 years and I've been into leadership position for 7, 8 years. One thing which I see working with many leaders, the leaders who have been in position, who have appreciated their employees, who have acted more like a coach or a mentor, have been accepted as a leader. अदरवाइज टाइटल तो बहुत जन को मिल जाता है बट दे पीपल डोंट रियली गिव देम द ड्यू रिस्पेक्ट टाइटल रिस्पेक्ट दे देंगे बट ड्यू रिस्पेक्ट नहीं देते हैं so and there is a big difference between these two leaders like just say I give an example there is a leader Hitler bhi hai and then there is a leader who's Ratan Tata also the late Ratan Tata right why do we accept the one with lot of grace and respect and the other key he was the leader he was ruling a country we call him a ruler and not really that respectful
That is
leadership.
the beauty of our country. We have find so much humble leaders in all spheres of life. And that's what we should take from them. Whether, as you rightly brought out, Ratan Tata ji is there, Narayan Murthy sir is there, Abdul Kalam sir is there. You can name n number of people, whether it's any sphere of life. And so that's the beauty of our society. And we are a self-healing society, I feel. So if something happens, you'll find someone, coming up, and it's been taught in our scriptures also. If something is there, someone will come and this, and it's actually happening. I feel people come and gives them their values, and at least I'll give a simple example, like Bharat Swachhata Mission. Once the Prime Minister got a broom few years back, now people are towards the cleanliness also. Although it's a long way to go, but I'm just making it creates an impact. Similarly, Mr. Narayan Murthy, I was just seeing his talk 2 days back. Such a humble person, and so many.
Yeah.
You can say so many people.
Absolutely.
So it's good for us.
Absolutely. And I think the points that you mentioned to identify what they are good at and giving that the due importance and making them grow because that's what has happened when leaders believe in you is where they make you another leader. And that's why you always give them the due respect or you give them that place position of a mentor or a coach even when they're not being one but they had this whole essence of leadership in them. And another which I could completely resonate while I was speaking to one of the I was CEO of a company. He also said ki my purpose और my value is कि मैं अगर B2B बिजनेस के साथ काम करता हूँ तो वो बिजनेस फ्लरिश हो क्योंकि उसके फ्लरिश होने से बहुत और लोगों की लाइफ की फैमिली फ्लरिश हो रही है.
Yeah.
So it's not about me growing. I want my partners or my clients to grow and flourish. So I mean that is the value when you as a CEO impart in your senior leadership such a right hierarchy which has been set and then you beautifully start to get teams. So कभी अगर organization में up and down होता भी है, people stay with you. People believe to stay with you.
Very true. Very true.
I think that's where we should also. I think जितना जरूरी है hiring the right team, we should also start looking from the point of view that we look at the right leaders before we get into an organization, and that is only depicted through the culture and the values and the mission and vision of the organization, like you said.
Indeed.
Very, very nice. Beautiful conversation. And I can totally reflect. And, it's like a reflection for me because I come from the corporate background. Uh, so, while there's so much that we could learn from you and understand from you, I'll just have a couple of more questions because you've been part of CERT. I would not really know what CERT is, which is CERT. Can you tell us what it is about? And we'll move from there for the next question.
Yeah, I've been a lucky one who have been a part of a CERT India. Now, CERT India is an organization, it's Computer Emergency Response Team. So it is actually responsible, or it has the mandate of protecting every citizens of this country from in the cyberspace as such. So it's a more of a defensive kind of organization. So it is basically under the Ministry of Electronics and IT, Information Technology. And if you see, if there's some it has a lot of programs like if your mobiles are compromised, they will help you. They'll you get some alerts your mobile has been compromised. So they're running a lot of initiatives on the behalf to secure the digital space of the country. So the mandate is thus. Apart from that, it also does a lot of activities like giving or doing some empanelment, identify people who can do carry out audits, who can, because they have to do. So this is the agency which does so. And I've been very lucky to be a part of the heading the digital forensics vertical there. And during that tenure, again, it's a blessing in disguise that I was able to do many cases which have impacted me also. And I'm very proud to say that it has also helped me. I am able to contribute something towards the national security.
Mm.
One case which I'll mention, of course, not going too deep, which because of course it's in the open media and a lot of books have been written about that, is regarding the Pulwama attack, which is a very sad incident which happened on 14 November 2019, 14th February 2019. In that moment of time, I was again serving in the north, but when I came into certain, I had that honor of being a part of that investigation team, and I proudly say that my team and me were able to come to some point which actually helped the country to clarify a lot of things. And it's a case which it's a case of my career, what I call it. We are able to do forensic analysis, identify things, and give what was needed to the law enforcement agencies. So means nothing can remunerate you, or nothing, no pay can justify that particular satisfaction when you contribute to such kind of. There are hundreds of such cases or investigations which have been part of.
Mm.
So that was one incident. But CERT is always there for you. It runs a lot of initiative, and there are a lot of things happening. The people who want to get into, like people sometimes have question, how do I get into cyber into the government of India? So this
Mm.
is one agency which hires people as consultants, as employees. So this is one field. I mean, this is one where you can get into. That is MITI, certain NCCC. There are so many organizations there.
Mm.
So I was there for around 2 years plus, and it was a very fruitful and satisfying tenure. That's what I can say about CERT. Any additional info required? Of course, I can share it. That's nothing.
Thank you so much for letting people know that this is an institute where people can get into as a consultant, as a job, so that they can get a career starting point in this particular domain, which is now picking up. So thanks for mentioning that. You mentioned about one of the pressurizing of highly known event, and similarly you worked and contributed across government, law enforcement, lot of academic things, and corporate sector now. Now, my this question is coming from perspective that I have seen a lot of entrepreneurs and leaders have a lot of I in them, and you constantly keep mentioning in your conversation all the time, me and my team, we did it, right?
Yeah.
So, what would you like to say to these entrepreneurs and leaders who have so much of I and they believe that, I am doing it, I have done it, and something happens wrong, they didn't do it. It's very easy for them to just give up. And they are entrepreneurs, they're business owners, and also at the same time, they have to go back to the corporate world, they're very senior leadership people, very senior leadership.
I learned this quality. Means I thank this for. I took this from Dr. Kalam sir. When I was reading his books a lot, so he says, "Whenever failures are mine and successes are yours."
Mm,
And I have seen this practice in ISRO. Even the present chief, when there was a failure a year back or so, he came out and said, "It's my failure, not my team's failure."
mm,
And Kalam used to say, whenever there's a success, he used to send his team to press briefing. He himself used to never go, because success is saying, I don't want limelight on me. I'm a very small person. I'm just giving an example from where I learned. I'm not trying to even compare myself to him.
mm,
And this quality by default is the quality of the army.
mm,
It's not about you, it's about us. If we succeed, we succeed all. If we fail, you are the leader. You have to take the responsibility. Even in forensics, also same thing, because you're the accountable person. I think I strongly feel in corporate, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, this point is a bit missing. If you fail, you're fired. That's kind of a thing. Accountability is also yours, responsibility is also yours, and this. It may be true to some extent. You cannot compare two different, apples and oranges can never be compared. As I said, the goals are different. But that this quality of mind of team, it's ours. And second, again, I should not say, when you say it's a teamwork, it actually it gives you so much pride in you that there was a team which actually trusted you as a leader, and they gave these results because that speaks of indirect your quality of
Mm,
leadership also. Okay, the
mm,
team trusted you, and it was the success was a fruit of our cohesiveness of collaboration.
mm,
And at a particular age or a particular stage in life, I am not saying I'm old enough or in corporate, I still have a long way to go. uh,
huh,
See, if you share your happiness, or share your success, I'll not say ki give full. I mean, there are few people who say, why should I give my full success there? Because the
mm,
points are counted.
mm,
Maybe right in there says, why not? I mean, if someone has not. But I feel that if I share my success, I find more happiness in that, because it's my second innings. Again, I'm saying I've done what I had to do. Now what I'm doing is plus, plus thing. And so that's okay. You have to, without, you're no one without a team. As you rightly said in your conversation, if someone doesn't call you a leader, irrespective of its politics or your corporate life or any
mm,
other, then
mm,
alone you are nothing. You are
yeah,
nothing. There's no use of having just going gaga over yourself.
yeah.
Your strength or your qualities, when the third person speaks, it is taken more collaborative way. That's how we also nurture our genius. If someone speaks about my team, I say that he's good, not that he telling me that he's good. If someone says, the client says, he's really good, that
Mm.
is speak. So this comes up from that. So it's better, and I think everyone should practice this, and no individual can do anything alone. It's more about collaborative world, nowadays.
So you just mentioned the right point that collaboration is the key to a faster growth these days. And whether it's your team, it's your vendors, it's your partners, it's your, having, there is no rather than looking at it as a competition, you can collaborate and give more to the world. So you
See,
can
if
give
you look
more
at it as a
people.
competition, there are more chances you fail. Even what I realized, I mentioned about a book which I was reading, the Blue Ocean
Blue
Strategy.
vision.
I
Yes,
mean,
yes.
again, I like to give examples from. I say ki I learn from others. That's what I also mentioned in my this. So it's say ki once you start thinking of competition, you'll never think about success or growth. You are only trying to counter the competition. So you're losing on your precious time and your resources, efforts, and everything. So better you look. Yes, you should know. Again, it's nothing. You should be, not knowing thing. You should know a thing, but you should not be spending your energy on those things which ki it is not going to give you results. So it's better you do it. Some may contradict this, but I follow this. Ki it's better you do something different than what others are doing, and just go ahead.
I mean, this is wonderful. I think I just have one last question. What is the advice that you would like to give to aspiring leaders? Not this aspiring leaders, but I talk about is uh, the Gen Zs,
Oh.
specifically because I often speak to a lot of Gen Zs and they have a lot of clarity what they want. But they don't. I don't see them having stability. They want to do multiple things at a time.
Mhm.
uh, they're studying, they're getting into a job, they're also, moonlighting and lot more things. So great energy, great enthusiasm, a dream to become an entrepreneur very soon in life, and the age is no bar. But what is the advice would you want to give? Because this is my vision of this Gen Zs. Do you have any other vision and or any other perspective? So just let having a holistic view of it. What is the advice that you would like to give to these aspiring new leaders coming in?
Okay, I'll start with again. I'll try to go back in, back to the future kind of thing.
Yeah.
Every father or every parent, I'll put it that, was happy if his sibling was one step ahead of him. Means
Mm,
if a father was a government servant, he would be happy if he'd become a gazetted officer. If means they would like their generation to be, one step ahead and be successful in life. So that is the difference between our Gen X and Gen Z, what we call it, right?
mm, mm.
So what I would like to tell them, as I said, and you rightly brought out that they are more towards the fast food kind of environment. They want instant results. Uh,
Very.
this is also happened, or this also this is a truth. It happens, but if you want to become stable in life, and I'll tell you the example that most of the hires which come, when we see that he has hopped 3 jobs within 1 year, we realize he's not a stable guy. He'll not stay with us also.
Yeah.
So that becomes a negative point if you see that way. So everyone is watching. बोलते हैं ना, कोई तो देख रहा है. तो ये तो everyone is watching. But
Mm.
my advice to others is that see, you should know what to do,
Mm.
right? And you should have a fallback option.
Mm.
If you fail, or if you're not successful, or you don't get success what you desired, so there should be a fallback option. I
Mm.
mentioned a point that I go on Saturday, Sundays to field. So I said ki if I'm not successful in my corporate, I will go and do farming. So that was my fallback option. So and it was a serious option, by the way, not this. So they should firstly they should stick to what they are. It should be a long term view rather than a short term view.
Mm.
There may be failures, but again, like people say, failures leads to successes.
Yes, yes.
You should go ahead, and I should say, for most important, I think they should have a mentor or guide. Like we have, even at this age, I mentioned few names of very senior people. You also mentioned few. So we have people whom we look up to. If
Yeah.
there's something even in paper media coming, we become so this glued that we want to see them. Okay, what next he has said. But
Mm.
nowadays people don't have those kind of things. They are only so they should have mentors in their particular fields. I
Yes.
always I always tell students, you need mentorship and internship. There are two things required if you want to go: mentorship and internship. So
Yes.
you look for a mentor. You at least have a thing. He may not maybe he may not be able to
Mm.
get in touch with you frequently, but at least look towards him. It will help you. Next is okay, you have to stay updated. It's a dynamic world. The best part of the present generation is they have everything on the platter, and they are they are much more ahead of us. And we as the we are the present generation. But I'm saying we who are from I call myself engineers of the last century because I did my engineering in 90s.
Yeah.
So we should also accept that fact that they have ideas which we can take. So these people should give the ideas to the people who can take. You mentioned about leaders who are accepting ideas. So they should find those accepting leaders and give the ideas so that though their ideas can flourish and deepen the expertise. When we speak of the T model, even in forensics, I'll give you an example. For last 25 years, I'm somewhere associated to forensics and investigations. But still now I can't claim that I know everything within forensics because technology have changed. Now you have deep fakes, you mentioned of digital arrest, there's something else coming in IoT related crimes. During my prime days, these were not the type of crimes. There were different types of crime. So if I say I know IoT forensics, I know deep fake forensics, it's wrong because this have just evolved. So the present generation knows that. So you have to have that particular deepen your expertise, what I feel in technical fields. And I'm always believe that specialization is better than generalization. People don't accept this, but I feel that specialization is much better than generalization. Communication skills are lacking in present days. People that cut culture, high who's culture, no, how the people speak. My daughter also speaks that sometimes with me, so that will not take you in the corporate. Still, it has to evolve. We have to have effective communication skill. And one thing I also realize that teamwork and collaborative work. I usually what I do is it's very good to grade the leaders from the or grade the subordinates. If I have a team, I tell you grade each other, and from that you come to know who is the best. So he's been more collaborative, he's been interacting, he's being so you come to know a lot of qualities. You can do quality type grading also internal, what most of us do. Then most important is they should understand the business they are in. That is very important. Risk taking appetite is less, what I feel.
Mm.
And there are many wrong directions people can go. One beauty thing of India is there are a lot of startups coming up, a lot of things, lot of. But if you should know, we should think why 90% of the startups fail. So that also a point of concern. It's a very good thing, and they are very good 10% who do very well, and not everyone can succeed. That's also there. So, and one important advice which I would like to give them as a brotherly advice, I'll say, because as I said, in corporate, you're not a leader, you're not a senior, you are sitting on the same bench. Networking, building relationships helps. You have to network. Professional networkship is the in thing in corporate. People should know you are qualified. At a particular stage, your CV resume doesn't count. It's the word of mouth which counts, your skills which counts, how you have done, how you have reacted with people. So this is there, and I already mentioned of public speaking. So your reputation is your word which the third person will give. So whatever you can do towards that thing, toward that particular achieving that goal will take you long way ahead. Network. I say this because in if you have to grow, people should know what you are good at or bad at. I'm not saying network in the sense of go on chat and be friends on chat. Network is a professional network I'm speaking of. Go to conferences, go participate in hackathons, participate in CTFs, do public speaking, write articles, do technical research papers. So this is what I find is missing because of that fast. I want to just skip. I get a better job, someone is offering, I just hop on.
Yeah.
So in our early 90s and 20s, there was a concept called as brain drain. People used to speak a lot about brain drain. Every brain drain means people are moving out from India and going here. Now we have these people here, but these people, and let me say that Gen Z is going to take us long ahead, and we'll be proud of these people. In the near future, I'm at least confident of this
I'm
generation.
so sure because the kind of knowledge, the fast movement, the understanding that they have is amazing. I only fear, uh, maybe that could be just my perspective, but after talking to you also, I realized that this fast food concept hai thoda sa, which needs to be slowed down a bit so
For
that
that, they need mentors. The person will tell him, be slow, do what is required. Sometimes people leave by just failing at a very small. I mean, no, where we know, and as an elder or as a macro view, that this person, even if he has failed now, he has the potential. He'll succeed the second attempt. So when they should be, someone should guide them. Even at this stage, even I take guidance as of now also because I feel that is the only that's the most important thing for me, at least.
yes, yes. I so agree. The mentors are your key to success because they also give you the third person perspective, which you are not being able to see. And not that because you don't have an appetite or capability or skill set, it's just that you're stuck and you don't even realize that's called as fixed mindset. So, yes, great, amazing, outstanding conversation. It's always so good to, when I catch up and I have this conversation, I find you people as my mentors and I keep learning and evolving. So thank you so much once again. And this brings us to the end of today's episode, where we
Thank
had
you.
the privilege of having you and diving into this world of cybersecurity, sir.
Thank you, and Jai Hind. Thank you.
Yes, and sir. Uh, it's not yet ended. I'm just going to give you just a roundup of today's conversation to people. So please stay tuned from learning from you about digital forensic to practical tips on staying safe online, which means do not give your personal information, come what may condition to anyone. Because as Santosh sir said, that right now it's about digital arrest. Now it could be IoT, and then what now we can't even imagine where we are moving up. So one, keep yourself abreast of what's happening in the environment and do not give your PI information. And while we take away and apply so many of the leadership qualities to our life, again, thanking you, Dr. Khadsare sir, for sharing this expertise, and to all our listeners for tuning in today. We hope that this episode did create some spark which was valuable for you, for your life, for your career. So if you find this so important, do not forget to share this episode with anyone who could benefit from the powerful insights that we just learned today. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast mindful underscore baddest underscore TV and leave us a review and what you would like to see next. And also follow us on Instagram and other channels. So just to give you once again that we have already kicked into December and the new year is about to come. And what we all aspire in the new year is to set up some new resolution on relationship, our future, our money, our growth, our relationships, our health, and everything, right? So the upcoming all the podcasts that we're gonna have till the end of December is all about how to really have a money mindset towards manifesting money, towards investing in personal investments, how to have a mindset of doing early investment because which we tend to lack. And if you have those mentors coming and sharing, who could be a CFO, an entrepreneur, wealth advisor, or a crypto advisor, do not forget that's what has been, stored in the coming 2, 3 weeks of December. So we would love to have you all. Till then, don't forget that you need to stay curious, stay safe, and keep growing. And see you next time once again. Bye bye. Thank you.
Thank you. All the best. Thank you.
All the best. And thank you, sir.